If you're struggling to find time for fitness over 40, you're not lazy, your calendar is the problem. In this episode of Over 40 Fitness Hacks, I sit down with time management coach Anna Dearmon Kornick to uncover powerful, practical hacks to reclaim your time and finally make space for your health goals. From 30-minute weekly planning sessions to backup workout strategies and bare minimum movement days, Anna shares real-life tools that you can use this week. So if you're tired of feeling overwhelmed, this one's a game changer. Stay tuned. Real quick, I wanted to talk about my SKOOL community. This is where I'm spending all my time helping with my audience. It's a free community right now. As you can see, I have 92 members. There's only 8 spots left before I start charging to new people. So if you want to claim those last 8 spots, this is where I spend my time, like I said, answering questions. We do coffee chats. I'm going to start doing office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays, trying out different times to work with people's schedules. And basically, it's first come, first serve, just helping people with their weight loss goals. And as you can see here on the top, we have general discussion. I put on things all the time about diet, movement, inflammation, stress, sleep, my podcasts, supplementation, toxicity. But, it's not just me. Other people can post whatever they want on this. Other members of the audience will comment. I'll comment. This is geared to the over 40 crowd who's just sick of healthcare and bad advice and want to talk to people who are getting wins and successes, whether it be weight loss, overall health, your blood work, or just some low-level biohacking like I do and talk about on my podcast all the time. So hope to see you there, and let's get on with the episode. Anna, I just want to thank you for coming on my show. Can't wait to see all these different time management hacks that you have for my over 40 crowd. I think we all need it. Getting all these different habits and hacks and diet and workouts is already stressful enough, but to have someone come on the show and help us with the flow and whatever little tidbits of info you can give us, I think it'd be a great and refreshing episode versus all the different doctors, supplement people I usually have on the show. Can't wait to hear what you got. As my audience always knows, we like to get to know the guests a little first before we dive into it. So I'll let you take it away.
Awesome. Well, Brad, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to join you. It's an honor to join you. And I'm right here in the trenches alongside all of you who are trying to dial in your health and fitness, regardless of what your goal is, whether it's to look good, feel good, have that long longevity to run around and play outside with your kids or your grandkids. We all have different goals, but at the end of the day, the time that we put into taking care of ourselves, it's time that we're not spending on other things. And so There definitely is some give and take and some time management that really plays into taking care of our health. I'm really pumped to dive into that with you today. My name's Anna Dearmon Kornick. I'm a time management coach. I'm host of It's About Time, a podcast about work, life, and balance. I'm author of Time Management Essentials, the tools you need to maximize your attention, energy, and productivity. And I'm the founder of the It's About Time Academy. I am also a mom to 2 little girls who are 4 and 6. So we're really in the thick of little kids that need a lot of help right now. Yep. A lot of my time when I'm not working really goes into being a mom. My family, my 2 girls, my husband Scott and I, we live in South Louisiana. I don't know if you know this, but we have some of the best, most tempting food in the entire country. Every single day is a landmine to navigate of gravy and fried food and just all kinds of good stuff down here. We like to live life and have fun. My husband and I, in addition to my time management coaching business, also own Studio Pizza Productions, which is a podcasting and YouTube editing agency. We're both managing our own schedules, running our own businesses, and trying to take care of ourselves along the way.
Wow. I have an 8-year-old daughter, just one kid, and it's already enough. We love her. And this is so much time. So I hear you with the 4 and 6-year-old. I remember those days.
It is. It's a lot.
Well, cool. I don't know if you've listened to my podcast at all, but my whole thing is about time efficiency. My style of training, I didn't really get to until I hit 40 and after a back injury, where I was forced to go into a style of doing things with time under tension, doing more effective reps. But basically, I've put out there that 30-minute workouts are enough, with other days just movement for like 10 to 15 minutes, short walk and all that. And with that and all the other different hacks, treating your body a little bit better now that I'm 40, having a 20-year-old body again with less work, less time. So that's why having you on my show is just, how do you get better than that? We're in the same minds focus.
I love it. Like I said, I'm right there with you trying to figure out health and fitness and how it plays a role in my life. So I'm 40 as of now, and 100 days before I turned 40, I made a decision. I think it was February 18th. I decided this is it. We're locking in. We're going to be committed. We're going to be realistic alongside being committed, knowing that consistency doesn't look like 100% every single day, but it does look like some form of effort consistently over the last few months, I have paid much more attention to the efficiency, timing, and energy management required as a part of time management when it comes to fitting in and making time to move your body. I'm looking forward to diving into those tactics that I've worked not just for me, but have worked for my clients as well, who have made their health and fitness a bigger priority in their lives.
Yeah, that's great. Well, let's get into some of that. I think we were going to talk about how to have your healthiest week every week in 30 minutes or less. Are you living up to that on your side since you just started this a few months ago?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the success of our week is determined before your week even begins. That's the thing that so many of us don't realize. Monday starts, we get into our week, we make our to-do list. And a lot of times we're just moving through the week based on what we feel like doing, what we have to do. We've got to be at this appointment. We've got this meeting. We've got to run carpool for kids. We've got to make sure everybody gets to soccer practice. And a lot of times taking care of ourselves, making it to the gym ends up getting the scraps of our time, if at all, because a lot of times taking care of ourselves just goes on the back burner because of all of the other time-bound and people-bound obligations we have. The success of your week is determined before your week begins. And that's where that 30 minutes comes in. I am a huge advocate of having a weekly planning session. Maybe weekly planning session sounds boring, so you can rebrand it however you want. You can call it your weekly reset or your weekly pump up or your, Sunday end it off session. When you set aside 30 minutes to sit down and get a bird's eye view of your week ahead and really identify, okay, what is on my plate for the next week? What meetings do I have? What deadlines do I have? What kids' activities are on the horizon? Which days are packed? Which have more space available? Having that bird's eye view enables you to spot obstacles and opportunities. Because when you spot obstacles, like Tuesday, I am in back-to-back meetings and we have soccer practice for the kids. If I'm going to get in my Tuesday workout, it's going to have to be in the morning. And you don't want to find out on Tuesday at noon that the only time you had to get in your workout has already come and gone. That's where getting that bird's eye view before your week begins comes into play. In a weekly planning session, you spot those obstacles, identify opportunities, and make decisions about your week before the chaos. You're able to move through your week smoothly and with intention. During my weekly planning session, I sit down and follow a pretty standard routine. I know that Monday and Tuesday are always going to be HIIT. I know that Wednesday is always going to be total body. Thursday is going to be upper body. Friday, I'm going to yoga. I know what my routine is. And it's looking and saying, okay, am I going to have 5 a.m. workouts this week? Or am I going to work out later in the day? Having a backup plan that's mapped out during that weekly planning session is going to make you more likely to hit your goals.
Yeah. I know for me, I basically use Sunday night for planning mostly things I have to do, where to take my daughter to, and other projects and errands. But as far as like fitness, I kind of leave it up to day by day, but I'm still doing a daily planning session. So Sunday night, I'll look at my whole week, but I'll plan Monday and color code it in my Google Calendar. Stuff in red has to get done. And one of those is my workout or movement or whatever I'm doing. Then other things can be blue or yellow, can be the ones that just perpetually keep getting pushed day by day, week by week. But I like the feel of not planning my whole fitness week on Sunday. I like doing that day by day, but I do it every single day. So I can pick what I feel like doing tomorrow, and then I'll throw it in there.
It's important. Like, I love that you said that you really prefer to plan your workouts day by day, because you have to do what's right for you. I am a huge advocate that there is no one size fits all solution or system when it comes to time management, but trial and error and thinking of yourself almost like a scientist and saying, okay, let me plan all my workouts out once a week. Let me see how that feels. And if it feels good, roll with it. And if it doesn't, adapt. So that planning session is also prime time to plan your meals for the week. There's nothing worse than opening up the fridge at 7:45 when everybody's hangry and you realize all you have is hot sauce and a slice of cheese. You think about the intention that we want to bring to how we're fueling ourselves throughout our workouts. I tend to go lower carb on Monday and Tuesday when I am doing my HIIT workouts. That means I have to make sure I've got my higher fat, higher protein items in the fridge ready to go. If I just wait and take it day by day, I'm not going to have what I need. I'm going to have to waste time making a trip to the grocery store or eat a bowl of Lucky Charms or some kind of junk just because it's there. And so that weekly planning session, tackling what's the workout plan for the week, what's the meal plan, what's the grocery plan, It's almost like fail proofing the week ahead.
Yeah. Do you use a journal, Google Calendar like I use, or do you have another software that you use, or what's your thing?
Great question. So combination of both. I definitely live and die by my Google Calendar. I use all the color codes just like you
Yep.
do. Pink for girls' activities, purple for podcast interviews, all that kind of stuff. And I use Asana, a project management tool, to manage my tasks. So really those two tools, combination of them both, that's what keeps me in line.
Wow. What's so special about Asana versus if you can do it on Google Calendar?
Yeah, Asana is fantastic because it enables you to create different dashboards, different boards for different projects. And within that board, you're able to contain all of the tasks associated with that project. So I've got a podcast just like you do. I have an entire project board that's dedicated to everything podcast related. And then I'm actually gearing up for the Take Back Your Time challenge. I've got an entire board dedicated to all of the tasks associated with that project. And the thing is, Brad, at any given moment, we individually probably have around 300 to 500 outstanding tasks,
Yep.
which sounds insane and completely overwhelming. But if you add up everything in our personal lives, everything in our work lives, the things that we want to do for ourselves, the things that we want to do for fun, it adds up. Using a tool like Asana and organizing all of those tasks by project means that when I open it up, my dashboard for the day, I only see what I need to do just today. It cuts out a lot of that additional overwhelm, the decision fatigue, the mental clutter. And so I'm a huge fan of Asana, but you can accomplish the same thing with other similar tools like Trello, Monday.com, or ClickUp. Asana
Yeah.
is just my tool of choice.
I'm using Microsoft Notes because it's on my phone. I have a note for each thing I'm trying to do. Like I'm trying to biohack my HRV on my Whoop device. Every time I score a certain level, I have to go back and write down like what I eat, what I do. Like I'm tracking that.
Oh, cool.
I have a wish list. I have all my podcast stuff on there. I get it. The other softwares, you can actually put images and other, programs, videos. I can't do that on Microsoft Notes. So it's just until I get to that level where I need it.
Yeah.
But just having something is huge.
You nailed it. Whenever you get to that level that you need it, search for the tool you need. If it's working for you, keep using it.
Well, Anna, what other little hacks, health hacks, training hacks that you think we can keep going with for my audience?
Sure.
If I got that weekly planning session. Okay, that's great. We got that going on. What
Okay.
else you got?
I'm going to talk to you about the importance of having your plan A and your plan B when it comes to your workouts for today. Now, this tip might not apply to everyone because you might be listening and you might be saying, oh, if I put a workout on my calendar, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go. I don't need a plan B. But there are some of us who definitely need to have a plan B in place. I've got a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old little girl. I cannot tell you the last time she spent an entire night in her bed, which means that she's waking up in the middle of the night. She's coming into our room. And that 4:45 alarm to get to my 5:15 gym appointment with my accountability partner is really early when you've been up with a 4-year-old. And some mornings, getting there for 5:15, my plan A, just isn't going to happen. And so I have what I call a plan B time block in my calendar. It is that in cases of emergency break glass, where if I'm not able to make the 5:15 happen, I know I've got a backup plan. Sometimes we end up filling our day so full that there's no wiggle room when something doesn't go as planned or when there's an emergency. That plan B block gives me the comfort in the night for some reason that I've got a backup plan to still get my workout in and maintain that consistency. And so I challenge you to say, if you are someone who has that workout scheduled, but if something happens, then it's just gone for the day, what would it look like to create a plan B for yourself? What would it look like to have a block that is open and available for workout? And hey, if you don't need it, you can do something else with it. It ends up almost being like bonus time.
Well, I think that's great too for people who don't have a system like that. Already think plan B will be just whenever I get to it at the end of the night after dinner. You're going to be so tired, and that's the only time you get to spend with your family. Working out at night is literally the worst thing you can do. Raising that cortisol right before you go to bed is a big no-no.
Yeah.
So you already lost your plan B, after 4:30 p.m. So everyone in their minds need to get that plan B somewhere else in the day. That's
Exactly. Brad, I was just thinking the same thing. Working out within 2 hours before your bedtime. And I'm sure that you probably know the science even better, but just as a time management coach, working with my clients to improve their sleep schedules, because that impacts everything
Yep.
about our health and our life. I like to say that good sleep is the most underrated time management hack because when you're rested, your body just makes better decisions. If you can't make it happen before that 2 hour window before bedtime, call it a loss. And so having that plan B really can help you make it happen. Also in terms of consistency, I've got two more tips here because consistency is everything. One is going to be so obvious, but it makes the biggest difference in the world. It's having an accountability partner. When you look at the science of success, whenever you incorporate accountability, it is mind blowing. Whenever you set a goal and you write it down, the act of writing it down increases the commitment that you have to that goal. And it makes you something like 43% more likely to achieve the goal, which is nice. That's a
Yeah.
nice little boost. But when you have an accountability partner for any type of goal that you check in with regularly, you skyrocket your chances of success all the way up to 97%. When I started my 100 days to 40 journey, I told myself, I am going to be most successful if I have an accountability partner. I don't want an accountability partner because that means I'm going to have to actually follow through with this. But having an accountability partner is what is going to make the difference. I bit the bullet and I reached out to a good friend of mine, Amanda, who is an early bird. I said, hey, I want to start working out in the mornings. Will you be my accountability partner? She was all in. As a result, it turned into a daily text message back and forth. 5:15, we're there. What do you have on the agenda tomorrow? I'm total body. You're Tabata. Cool. And so we're there for each other. And I can tell you 100% that if it were just me having to get myself to the gym, it would not have happened. I'm on a 57-day workout streak right now.
Yeah.
And it's all because of accountability.
Yeah. I've had accountability partners my whole life and buddies, and it just ended up not working out. So my caveat to that would be when you pick an accountability partner, make sure that other person is a diehard. You be the flake trying to get better. Don't pick a flake that's gonna, because when they go, then you'll go. I've had so many different buddies, and even my brother ended up being like the worst, gym accountability partner. So,
Yeah.
in my world, being the personal trainer, that was my selling point. We're the accountability partner. We're just sitting there all day long. So, but for those who don't want to have to pay or can't afford a personal trainer, just pick someone. Pick
Right.
that diehard that you see that is just going 7 days a week. You
Yeah.
don't have to do that many days, but you at least will know they'll show.
Yes, absolutely. I've had accountability partners in the past. I think back to 10, 15 years ago, my roommate and I, her name was Shannon. We were both, single career girl life. We were training for a half marathon at the time. And there were mornings that I would text her from my bedroom under my covers warm and say, I don't think let's not do that training run today. Let's do it later. She would always say, you're right. We deserve the rest. And then the run never happened.
Yeah. Got to pick a diehard for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the key. Having that accountability partner is key. Having your plan B in place is key. And I'm going to give you one more that really is something that I have had to personally work on because I tend to think of myself as an overachiever, somebody who gives things 110%. And I think a lot of us are, especially when we have fitness goals. We get this all or nothing mindset ingrained in us where we believe that if we're not able to do the entire 30, 35-minute workout, if we can't do it all, then what's the point of doing any of it? If we don't have the energy for whatever reason to do the full HIIT workout, we're just not going to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that has really safeguarded me from that, and I work with my clients on this in different areas of their life as well, is creating a bare minimum and a best case scenario. A bare minimum and a best case scenario. What is something that you can do to move your body that would just feel easy? Maybe it would feel like not enough, but what would feel easy? For me, my bare minimum is a 20-minute walk.
Yeah.
Indoor, outdoor. There's really no excuse for not eking out a 20-minute walk. I have a walking pad right there that I'm looking at. That's the bare minimum. But the best case scenario is doing the full workout, doing the full HIIT workout, doing what you would plan to do. But you know what having that bare minimum does for you? It allows you to maintain consistency on the days that you're not feeling 100%. Because we don't feel 100% every single day. And we can't give 110% to every single thing that we do. But when you break a streak, when you miss a day, it is so much harder to start over than it is to keep going. Have
Yep.
you ever, like, you break that streak and then it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to take a week off now and eat junk food and then I'll restart in a week or so. And so by having a bare minimum, you're able to still accomplish something, but you're able to maintain your momentum. And so, I want to hit that completion point. I want to hit all the sets and the reps and then do the cool down and then do the 20-minute walk. But sometimes just doing the 20-minute walk is all you need to keep yourself moving forward.
Yeah. I've learned to take something as easy as walking and doing work assignments. For me, doing social media, because I can't really stand doing social media anyways. But now I've tied them together. I was like, okay, that's a good reason to go walk. One, you got great lighting for your camera and video. If you want to do social media, you're not allowed to do it without going for a walk. And if you go for a walk, you're not allowed to do that walk unless you do at least one little social media post. So I've married those two together. I'm like, man, this is killer. This is
I
working.
love that. Combining workout time with social time. You know, I think of like myself doing a bar class with a friend. There's a Pilates reformer class at our gym that I love to splurge on and do with a friend of mine. And it ends up being social time with a workout. And so, whether that person that you're being social with is your accountability partner or just another friend, do a walk and talk and invite a friend to come to the gym with you. Maybe that seems weird, but anytime that you can double up and pair your fitness activity with some social time, the rewards are huge. I mean, scientifically, our bodies get so recharged and replenished when we combine that social interaction with moving our bodies. Scientifically, that's the best type of break, the best type of recharge. So that's another great opportunity to double up.
I think that's great because, for people over 40 that maybe have families and the work-life balance, waiting for the weekend to get all your social life in when usually that's already taken up with family type stuff. You think you're going to have social time, but that's not the case. Mixing it in throughout the week, just, so much benefit to that and for your psyche and everything. So I like that idea. Well, cool. Tell us about your challenge that you're doing, and then we'll go into all your other things where my audience can get a hold of you. The challenge seems like it's coming up, so I wanted to highlight that real quick.
Yeah. So every quarter or so, I host the Take Back Your Time Challenge. It is a 5-day, completely transformational challenge where each day we meet live with a community of others who are working to take back their time. And we dive into a different aspect of time management, from awareness to vision, clarity, alignment, routines. And what's so awesome is that just by showing up and committing to these 5 days, you can completely transform your time. In addition to the Take Back Your Time Challenge, you can always find me over anywhere you listen to podcasts. Just search for It's About Time. It's all about work-life balance. I'm always interviewing other go-getters to find out how they're getting things done, sharing time management strategies, tips, and tools, kind of like the ones that I shared with you today. And that's really one of the best places to find me, continue to connect.
Awesome. And what platform do you have people meet on? Is it
Yeah.
Zoom or?
So it's actually a combination. The main challenge runs in a Facebook group using Facebook Lives, but the VIPs, because we have a VIP tier for the challenge, we have a second private coaching session that happens over on Zoom.
Very cool. Well, awesome. As my audience knows, I'll put all those links to your socials, your website, and that challenge probably on top just because it's coming up quickly. Other than that, Anna, I just want to thank you so much for spending your time with us, giving us some tips and tricks. This is like one of the least talked about topics because everyone's always interested in burning fat, putting on muscle, what's something like
Protein.
that. Protein. This is more mindset, getting it done.
Yeah.
That's the freaking battle.
You
So,
got to have the space in your calendar to get it done, and you've got to have the capacity to manage all the decisions involved with taking care of yourself.
absolutely. Well, Anna, thanks again for coming on my show, and I'll definitely push my audience members to your socials and your podcast as well.
Awesome. Thanks a bunch, Brad.